Hey, welcome to Furious Driving, and this is something of a bittersweet episode really, because it's the last time we do a tinkering video on Quentin the Rover. And Quentin over the last year has become something of, well, more than a piece of the furniture. He's a part of the family now. But over that year, we've done a lot to the car. If you haven't been following the saga of Quentin, then do hit the link above, which takes you back to the beginning when we saw him arrive on a trailer with 4 flat tyres, a seized roof and a seized alternator, and well, we'd done everything basically. In the engine bay, a cam belt, water pump, alternator, battery, full service, moving back, we had to change the fuel pump 2 or 3 times, change the ECU and immobiliser because that wasn't working, put a new hood frame on it and then have that covered in that beautiful red hood. It's just come back from the body shop, so it's got a completely new full respray, so it looks absolutely magnificent. I've just coloured the interior, and I'm sure there were many other jobs along the way. There's been so many, I kind of forget them as we go. Every time I do something else, I forget, oh, we had to break into the boot. There's a million things we've done to this car. So it's been an absolute adventure. Anyway, we're now pretty much done. So there are 3 things we're going to do today. First of all, change the tyres because they are not looking their best. I've mentioned it previously. So we've got a new set of Falkens which we're going to be putting on there, making that an awful lot nicer. Secondly, going to get this thing clean that 6 weeks of body shop dirt and neglect off the car. So thank you to this video sponsor, Diamond Bright. We are going to be using their ceramic range. Oops. Put this down. Ceramic Blast Snow Foam, ceramic shampoo, which also leaves a bit of a ceramic trace on the car, and ceramic glaze so the car stays cleaner for longer. And then they rejuvenate and tyre black and all the other stuff to make this thing absolutely minty fresh. I love this ceramic range. I use it on the Mercedes, which you can probably see in the background over there. Has not been washed in a month and still looks deeply shiny, which is an absolutely, well, a glowing testament as far as I'm concerned. So thank you to Diamond Bright for sponsoring this video, and we're going to be getting this thing mega clean with this stuff very shortly. And thirdly, there's one final thing to do before we put this car on sale. We're going to find out what it's worth. So we can take it up to our friends at Stone Cold Classics and get a professional appraisal of what this thing is actually worth. Am I going to lose money, or would I have been better just pouring cash down the toilet and setting fire to it? I think we know the answer to that, don't we? I wouldn't have had fun doing that, would I? Or is it? I don't know. Has anyone out there actually poured cash down a toilet and set fire to it? Is that a lot of fun? Is it as fun as it sounds? I don't know. Is it more fun than lying under a Rover in the rain? Who knows? Anyway, let's go on with the car. Right, first of all, we're going to tackle the wheels, because these things have been on the car, well, more or less as long as I've had it, because the MGF wheels that came on this car, they look good from dead side on, but the offset was ridiculous and they didn't fit properly. The car just would have run terribly on them. So I had to go and get some new wheels. So I stuck my Tomcat wheels on, and the tyres on these Tomcat wheels are over a decade old. They are good quality tyres, but when tyres get this old, you can see they're starting to dry rot in between the treads. They are actually getting close to the wear limiters, and this one in particular is actually slow puncturing, so it's losing air. So this has actually made me not want to drive the car, because I'm constantly in fear of it going down or bursting or just losing traction on a bend, and so binning the car would be a terrible thing to do. So I've not really been using the car very much at all, really, just because I'm fearful of these wheels. So these will live on in the shed with some new tyres in a later date. However, in the meantime, now for the surprise reveal of these. They're a bit dirty because they've been in the shed for about a month and a half. These wheels, if you will follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you will have seen me filling the boot of the Mercedes with this set of 4 very nice Rover. I think they're not Phoenix, are they? There is a name for these. I've forgotten what they are though. These are high-end, late 90s, top of the range 200, 400 alloys. So the same fitment and offset and everything as these wheels. So it's all good. They are very nice indeed, but they were shabby as hell. I paid £35 for a set of 4 of them, which is a bit of a bargain on Facebook Marketplace. And I started refurbing them myself at home. There may even be some B-roll of that happening in the background if I've managed to find it. But then I quickly found out 2 things. First of all, the shape of this wheel pattern is absolutely horrible for DIY sanding. It takes forever and it's impossible to get into all the crevices. It's no fun at all. It's not a happy days fun entertainment. So I was on the verge of giving up anyway when I discovered that one of them is flat spotted across the top. I don't mean the tyre, I mean the wheel. Someone must have whacked a curb in that pretty hard. So that one was going in the bin, and I had to go on eBay, I think, and find another one 25 quid, so £25 for one, £35 for the other three. And then I've had them all refurbished professionally by a company called Diamond Styling over in Sevenoaks, 200 quid for the set. And obviously they needed tyres, so I went and found myself a set of these. Let's turn this label the right way up for you. These are Falken ZX ZE310 Eco Runs, and the correct size for this car, 185 55 15. They are a lovely set of tyres because they've got all the pros I want, all the things I'm looking for, because I never cheap out on tyres. You cannot put budget tyres on a car. The nasty Chinese brands are just dangerous and a waste of money. If you value your safety and the safety of anyone else's in your car or near you, you've got to put some good tyres on. These things have got a good few features that are worth having in this situation. First of all, incredible wet and dry grip. Because old cars are not so great on passive safety, airbags and so forth, you need to be strong on active safety. And these have got a really good wet and dry safety rating, so you can avoid having an accident in the first place by having really good grippy tyres, which is a good thing. They've also got quite an attractive looking tread pattern, which will look nice on the car. And also they have got an unusual feature, and they've got like a foamy lining of some kind, which helps keep the noise down. And because this is a convertible, keeping the noise down is a big deal. So when you're running with the hood down, you won't have road noise interfering with the experience of wind in your hair, birds fluttering in the skies, and hearing the general sounds of the outdoors, because the tyres will not be getting in the way. So generally there are lots of good plus points to these things. Right, so let's get these Falkens and these rather nice alloys onto the car. And I have to say, this big jack and this impact thing have been an absolute godsend on these projects over the last few weeks, months even. The only thing these new wheels are missing are these rather swanky-danky Rover dust caps, but although they look a bit pitted and corroded now, look at them, so I might not put them onto the new wheels after all. I keep wondering if maybe there's some good luck or bad luck charm around this car. Maybe it's them, maybe they're the bad luck. I'm going to say goodbye for now. That may even turn up back on the coupe if I ever sell it one day. I'll put the original wheels back on. Oh, did I mention, also changed all the discs and pads on this thing. That was a job we did early on. I think we did some track rod ends as well, from memory. So much has been done to this car. You know, I think I might actually need some shorter nuts, wheel nuts on this. They look a bit long and protrusive. Okay, so there may be a few extra little bits and bobs we do to this car before it finally meets its new owner. See how time goes. If someone whisks it off before I've even got time to do a car review video, interesting trucks, then we won't. But in the meantime, if I can obtain some shorter wheel nuts, I will, because that will be an improvement visually. Right, I'll buzz these up here, then go find a torque wrench. I'll do it off camera because I've got 4 wheels to buzz through. Now that looks good. And finally, a finishing touch are the centre caps. Don't forget there is a little 5th point along there. You have to get into that groove, otherwise it won't go in. There you go. Snap these in and we're done. This is just yet another incredible transformation. This car just keeps on getting better and better all the time. I know people jokingly say in the comments all the time, I won't want to sell this car, but it really is kind of getting to that point that I don't want to sell this car. This is just yet another thing where the car just looks, again, even more special. This car has had so many transformations. It's the ultimate Phoenix. We shouldn't be calling it Quentin, we should be calling it Falks. That's, oh, I'm so pleased with yet another incredible transformation. Right, let's sort out the interior, clean up, and then get onto the outside cleanup, and then go see what this thing's actually worth. Right, one annoying thing that happened just after the thing had its MOT earlier in the year was this little plastic trim cover that goes around the seatbelt decided to snap off. So I was going to refit it with a little bit of modelling type Airfix glue stuff, just to make sure it's not going to fall off again. Because we really are into the final stages of nitpicking the niggly stuff to make the car as perfect as possible. Practically perfect in every way and all that. Right, hopefully that will stay together this time. I did think I'd lost these bits of trim that sit over the top of here and in there and hide all the workings and gubbins of the hood. turned out they're all tucked right under the driver's seat. I really tucked under there. And so now I've got them back, I can refit them and it'll look a lot tidier in the back as well. Now the interior of this car shouldn't be too bad to clean up, because when I first got it I did spend an awful lot of time deep cleaning it with several bottles of this interior cleaner because it was utterly manky. I also used a couple of cans of upholstery and carpet clean because the carpets, having been stood outside for so long, were utterly manky. A thing I discovered, which actually quite surprised me, was that even with like a tarpaulin type cover just draped over the car and tied down, without the roof on it, the interior gets absolutely disgusting. Just atmospheric dirt finds its way underneath the cover, dust, dirt, I don't know what else, gets blown in by the wind and just sits everywhere. So the car was disgusting. So I gave it a really good clean, but it's now just thick with dust. So I'm going to go over it again with interior cleaner, get all the windows nice and shiny with the ultra glass. I'm going to do the hood lining, which is actually really nice condition. It's like a vinyl-y material, with the interior cleaner. And then once I've vacuumed the carpets, I'll see if I need to give them another treatment with upholstery cleaner. And I'll also be using an awful lot of these microfiber cloths, which Diamond Bright do sell in big bulk packs as well, because you need a lot of them to make the car interior and the exterior very nice. With the best will in the world, body shops are pretty disgusting places. All the cutting and sanding and work on the cars just makes it a very unpleasant place to be in terms of dirt and cleanliness. The cars do rise phoenix-like from the grime, but while they are there, they do get extremely dirty. Now all of these products are of course on the Diamond Bright website, which is linked in the description below. God, that's just that one little tiny area. And I'll get into those air vents in a minute as well. Oh, that's something else I changed. I changed this air vent because that was broken. The list of little things we've done to this car just goes on and on and on. Oh yeah, the backlight on the clock. I need to figure out how to get the clock out to change the backlight on that. Wow. Brand new cloth to that in just one wipe. That shows two things. First of all, how dirty a body shop is, and secondly, how much dirt this stuff will lift off. I love these detailing brushes because they are soft but fairly firm filaments on them, whatever you call them, and they get all the way into the nooks and crannies of the air vents and places like that you can't get a cloth into, and you get all the cruddy dust out that makes the car look just so rubbish, and so the car then looks like new again. Fantastic. It even has a nice orangey smell, which is quite refreshing. So much gunk in little hidden places like the fuel filler cap down there. It's ugh, and the crevices around that are disgusting. And the seat has even got adjusters for like height and rake and things, so those all get dirty too. Everything needs a really good clean on this car. I'll be honest, I still haven't found the screws that go there, there, and there. Yes, the 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that go in each of these doors. I don't know where they are. I'll probably have to email or ask someone in the club if they're breaking a car, if I can get them off them, because I don't know what I've done with them. I have still got the covers, don't worry. I can still put these little caps over it and that will be fine. Now let's take care of the inside of the windows with the ultra glass. It probably won't look too clean just yet because the outside is still pretty miserable, but at least we can get the inside looking nice. And that's just from the glass. Right, now a quick hoover and the interior is more or less done, I think. Oops. I have been using Alpha 156 floor mats, which are a really good fit, but I do have a brand new set of new old stock mats in the boot, but they're too nice to use. This, I think, is actually a functioning speed sensor. I replaced it. Turned out I don't think I needed to. It was something else that was broken. I think it was a fuel pump that was broken when I did that one. There's so many things changed in this car. Now, one really unusual place we had to do a lot of hoovering was up in the parcel shelf. All the drillings from getting the rusted in screws and bits of rust from the old hood frame were just still sitting there even after a couple of cleans. Now it's lovely. Well, the other carpets have come up sparkly enough that I can get away. I don't think I need to upholstery clean them, but the driver's footwell obviously is the most heavily used one, and it's still a little bit on the brown side, so I'm going to chuck in some upholstery and carpet cleaner, and that will just lift a bit more grime out. Squirt it on, leave it for a minute or two, sponge it off with some clean water, and hopefully the carpets will come up super duper. Let it soak in and then sponge off with a damp sponge, and hopefully it'll look absolutely spiffy. Yep, that's a lot of dirty water from just a very small area. This interior is now another level lovely. It is just so deeply gorgeous. Every time I clean it, it just seems to get a little bit nicer than it was before, and just improves and improves. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, snow foaming is one of my favourite things to do to a car. It's effective, fast cleaning, and it's lots of fun, and it gives an amazing result. This new one from Diamond Bright is called Ceramic Blast, and it actually works in conjunction with ceramic shampoo as a follow-up, and it's got little bits of ceramic, whatever they put in, ceramic coating in the Ceramic Blast, and it leaves a ceramic trace on the car that makes it easier to clean next time, which is awesome. And then ceramic shampoo does the same, so you get a bigger level of ceramic on the car, and then you follow up with the ceramic glaze, which then means the car is not only very shiny and polished in a matter of minutes, it stays clean up for longer and the dirt just falls off. Now, if I was doing this more sensibly, a really good tip I picked up the other day is that you put the water in first and then the blast in afterwards, and it doesn't froth up in there and it's easier to fill, but I'm doing this for the camera, so I'm doing it all wrong. Now, normally I'll be starting any wash with some ruby red wheel clean, but as these wheels are brand spanking new, I don't need to bother today. This stuff is great because it's not an abrasive or an acid type thing that etches the dirt off. It is one of these new systems of wheel cleaners which lift the dirt, and which is mostly iron oxide from the brake discs and pads, and lifts it away, turns red as it does it. But we don't need to do that today because it's all shiny and new. Now, one other finishing touch I added before I started filming this was to add these new number plates from Perfectly Printed Plates. These are the ones that were on the car with the red outline, which I just thought looked a bit tacky, a bit over the top, just too much attention grabbing to the number plate. These are the bubble ones which divide opinion. I personally think they look really nice. They're not too in your face, they're not too over the top, but they're just a little bit of personalisation. Now, you can get, if you hunt around, the correct 1990s font, although technically you're not supposed to add them back onto a car that's not got them anymore, so you're kind of not strictly legal doing that. So that's why I've gone with the new ones. If we weren't doing this on camera, you can probably get away with an awful lot more than if you are doing stuff on camera. If you don't like snow foam, it can only mean that you hate fun. I don't hate fun, I love fun, which means I love snow foam. Who doesn't like pretending it's Christmas when you're washing the car? I don't think my jet washes very well. And this stuff is great because while you just watch and wait, it gently lifts the dirt and contaminants away from the paint. So when you hose it away in a minute, you're taking all of that dirt away. So you're just doing a very, very light clean with the suds in the next stage. And this car, it wasn't like deeply dirty because it was all fresh paint from about 2 weeks ago, but it had got a lot of atmospheric contaminants. So you sit outside, the rain has got dirt in it, that sits on it and sticks to it. Outside a body shop, there's lots of dust in the air. So yeah, it's just very grimy and just needs all this stuff to just lift off and get hosed away. You should only really jet wash hose on cars as sparingly as possible, and when you do it, set it to the soft setting so you don't damage the fabric. Now, next up we've got a bit of ceramic shampoo, which, like all Diamond Bright shampoos, is a great car shampoo, but this one has got the ceramic element, which means it's going to leave a bit of ceramic trace in there, so dirt will not stick to the car. I'm not using a sponge, of course, that's yesterday's news. Using a wriggly mitt, which is like a microfiber wash mitt, and the 2 bucket method, of course. What else would we use? Oh, this paint looks so lovely. This is such a massive transformation for this car, because it was just all different colours. Oh, just nastiness everywhere. Now it is a joy to behold. The other thing about owning this car as a convertible is I never want to put the hood down because I don't like being out in the open that much, to be honest. But this looks so good with this red roof. I don't want to put the hood down because I think it looks so much better with the hood up. Now we just jet wash this all off and marvel at how shiny it is. Now, apart from noticing the fact I did manage to find both of the windscreen washer jets in the end, they was under the floor mat in the front of the car. Look at how this water is beading up on the car. That is the ceramic element of that shampoo just working so perfectly. So now I just need another handful of microfibers to get this all nicely shiny and perfect. Looking extremely good now. Now it's all dry, we can go back in with the Ultra Glass on the outside of the car this time. So it'll be crystal shiny. Now, speaking of glass-like finishes, if this paint was any older or been sitting outside for a long period of time, like the Mercedes does, and which I do periodically do to that car, I would be going in to get a glass-like finish on here using a clay bar. This though is extremely smooth still, so I don't think there's any point in clay barring at the moment. All my favourite products, Replenish is one of my all-time ultimate favourite products. It's so good on black plastic and trim. On the Mini especially, it's brilliant because the Mini plastic fades like crazy. Even the new one seems to go a bit grey. This just squirt on and wipe off, and it leaves such an amazing finish. Till this absolutely transformed the Volvo when I got that, and that car was silver with grey plastic, and I finished doing this and suddenly it was silver with black plastic. Now here is a challenge. Look at the state of this back bumper. It is really badly faded. A quick squirt of this stuff, mist it on, wipe it off, and this is transformed. And that is just such an impressive visual impact to change the way the car just looks and feels when you look at it, when you walk up to it, the impression people get of it. A bird just pooped on my arm. A bird just literally pooped on my arm. Don't have done the roof. That's lucky. I'm going to have to find somewhere to park this indoors until it sells because I can't have it outdoors being pooped on. And for a final touch, some tyre dressing. Oops, let's turn it on. Which just gives that beautiful, shiny, wet look to the tyres. And then obviously wipe off the alloys so they don't look sticky and wet either. This car is just now astonishing. The only thing I haven't done is under the bonnet because the day has got away from me. Last but by no means least of this project is ceramic glaze. This stuff is amazing because it bonds to the paint, it stops dirt bonding with the paint instead, so the paint stays shiny, and when you come to wash it next time the dirt just falls off. It's fantastic, and because you squirt it on, it's a lovely blue liquid, you can actually see it clearly on this bright silver paint, and just wipe off. That's literally it. It takes a matter of moments to go over an entire car, and you can do it on the glass and plastic as well. And the car stays silky soft, silky smooth for a long, long time. and we are done. And that was quicker to do that than to boil an egg. That is such a fast and worthwhile effort putting into making the car get shiny and stay shiny. So this is two notable firsts. Firstly, it's the first time I've driven this car since it had its paint job, because I was going to drive it back from the garage, but obviously the battery had gone dead, so I had to get it trailered home. And I've not driven it apart from up and down the drive since. And secondly, it's the first time I've driven it on its new wheels and tyres, which are actually an awful lot smoother and quieter. It does still need the tracking doing. I can see the steering wheel's off centre and it's pulling a tiny bit to the right, so I need to get the tracking done. Another thing for the list. And also, which I'd forgotten about and just rediscovered, the resistor in the back of here only works on the top settings. So I need to go and change that blower motor resistor thingy. It's only about £9 off eBay, so I'll get onto that. So I'm now heading down to Stone Cold Classics to see what Rain reckons this car might be worth. Because last time I did the tally up on it was when I was getting the roof done, and I estimated I was in it for about £4,000. Since then I've spent a little bit more. I can't remember if I included the wheels and tyres in that at that point, but certainly I've spent more on things like the trim clips to hold the weather strips on, and just random odds and sods. So I reckon I'm closer to £4,000 to £4,500 into this car as it now stands me. So I would like it to be worth somewhere in that region so I can claw back most of what I spent on it. I really can't keep it. I've got too many cars, and admittedly it's actually one of the nicest cars I own now as far as the retros go, but it's just one too many. This car does drive really nicely. That is the amazing thing. For a car that was sat for so long, utterly neglected, it really does drive smoothly. Those new tyres are nice actually. They've got a real, as promised on the tin, nice smooth ride. It's nice and quiet as far as road noise goes. There's almost none. A bit of wind noise from above, but not much either. People who bash Rover these days really need to drive a good one and realise they were actually excellent cars. This is Wayne, who you might have seen on the channel previously, who owns Stone Cold Classics and is a bit of an expert when it comes to interesting retro cars. So, Wayne, if you were to see this in the classifieds, what sort of thing would you be looking at on the car, and what kind of money might you expect to see it advertised for if you sort of picked up Auto Trader and then there it was?
I think first of all you see the colour combo, which is really nice with the red roof. It'd be clear that the wheels have been refurbed, they look really good, and it's got leather interior, which I believe was an option anyway, and it's always nice to have. Yeah, so that would be standouts. It's and really on these cars it's looking for rust. So she's obviously pretty much rust free from what we can see, what you'll be able to see in pictures and what we can see here. So that's the absolutely what all makes or breaks a car like this. Because if you've got to start spending money on restoration, then
it's not worth it, is it? No.
It's not going to be worth it, not for a long time. So yeah, the most important thing, see rust, run away. But this one looks like it's pretty good. So yeah, if I saw this in the classifieds, I'd expect to see a 3995 on that. They're getting rarer and rarer and harder to find, particularly the early cars. Obviously this is a later one, but if you look around, some of the other dealers have got put in some quite healthy prices on them now. So and the Rover Group stuff is always popular. There's always a group of people who love them. There's always people who don't. There's people who are scared of these cars, are scared of the K series, and people who aren't.
Well, yeah, that's it, yeah. This had a new head gasket just before it was parked up.
Right.
So it's been done.
It's inevitable, really. I know people are anti them and say a lot of those things about the head gasket, but it is kind of inevitable. So the fact that it's been done is great.
Yeah.
If it's been done with the uprated one, even better. Which is, again, certain cars like these, MGFs, Porsche Boxsters, if you're going to talk about the problems they have, so if you can say for a Porsche Boxster ad, it's got an IMS bearings done, and on these K series, if the head gasket has been done, all of a sudden you can walk into it with a lot more confidence.
That's it.
Yeah, but so I mean, if you get anywhere in the top between 3,700, 3,900, 4,000 £4,000, you're doing well. The market's massively unpredictable, everything's moving up.
That's the thing, isn't it?
And yeah, you know, to the right person, it should be worth that kind of money.
So there we go. It's potentially worth about £4,000, so it's only worth a little bit less than I spent fixing it. So if someone is willing to fall in love with it, I'm not too far out of pocket. Well, it's been an absolute adventure. We've done so much to this car. Obviously, wheels, tyres, paint, interior, hood frame, hood skin, cam belt, water pump, alternator, battery, full service on everything. Brake discs, brake pads, exhaust pipe. What else was there? Oh yeah, immobiliser, fuel pump, fuel pump, fuel pump, boot lid. Every time I fix one thing, there's something else broke. But now this car is absolutely fantastic. It starts on the button every single time. It drives fantastically. I'm kind of stupid for selling it because it's kind of one of the best cars I actually have now. It doesn't leak, which is almost unheard of for my cars. It starts every time. This is an absolutely awesome car. I just need to find someone else who's willing to fall in love with this car as well, and has hopefully got a garage or somewhere dry they can store it, because I don't want this to go to somewhere where it's going to be stored outdoors, go rotten, go rusty, all the good hard work we put into it be kind of wasted. It's too nice for that now. This is an absolutely immaculate car. This has to be one of the best Rover 200 convertibles left in the world. I know there is a really nice black one for sale up north at the moment, which is about another £1,000 or so more than this car, but that's only got about 35,000 miles on it. This one's got 83,000, which is not still a lot of miles for a car which is pushing 25 years old. I've got a few bits and bobs left to do to it, but that's all just finishing touches. So as far as the project is concerned, I think we're pretty much done now. Thanks for watching and following Quentin's progress, and if you have enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe. Check out the Quentin stuff on the Redbubble store, mugs, t-shirts, stickers, all that kind of stuff. Take a little bit of Quentin home. Well, join me again next time when maybe there'll be something else broken on it, maybe we'll be driving something different, maybe there'll be a new project. Who knows, maybe I'll finish one of the other ones. Thanks for watching, see you again next time.